Sens lose 2-1 in Game 3 of Round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs to the Carolina Hurricanes. Notice that I didn't even change the jersey. Part of that is because, yes, obviously there's two very important games both for both Ottawa teams on Saturday, and I'm going to be going to one and then probably seeing another one after the fact. There is a chance that both Ottawa seasons end on the same day in painful fashion, but one team has a lot more hope for the very near future. You know, the Charge make the playoffs, anything can happen. The Sens win Game 4. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you give Carolina a chance to eliminate you in Carolina, they're going to do it. So this is a funeral procession, basically. Like, you know, this was the one outcome that I really was like, can't happen. The one thing was like, you can't drop the first 3 games of the series again. You can't go 0-3 to start another series. And it's at a point where I genuinely have to question what is best for the long-term health of this franchise. Get a little bit more playoff experience in there. Get another gutsy win in Game 4 and maybe even Game 5. Though I really doubt Game 5. Carolina is a tough team to beat at home. But let's say we, same result as last year. Game 6, Round 1. Is that even worth it? Or would it be better? That's not what I look at. And this is where I'm going to talk about the difference of what you want as a fan and what is good for the long-term health of a team. As a fan, you never want your team to lose. If you ever want your team to lose, I think that's not being a good fan. But there is times where when you separate yourself from the fandom, you can logically look at it and be like, it is good for this franchise to lose. Look at teams that, are in the lottery race. It's good to lose. It's good for you to lose and fall down in the standings so that you have a better chance of getting a high draft pick. But in any individual game, you should still be rooting for your team to win. Just knowing that each individual loss is towards the greater good of your team having success in the future. That you having a bad season is good for the greater good of the long-term success of your team, of your franchise. That, okay, they had a really bad season, they're going to get a high draft pick. They lost this game during their bad season. It solidifies that they're probably going to get a really high draft pick. So in that same token, would it be good for the long-term health of the Ottawa Senators to get swept? And that's a wild thing to say, and it's something I didn't think I'd be saying at the start of the season or even at the start of the playoffs. But the reason why I say this is that was one of the most pitiful displays I've ever seen by this team. One of the most gutless, spineless displays I've ever seen. Where was the energy? Where was the passion? Where was the communication? Wasn't on the ice. That's for sure. Wasn't on the bench. That's for sure. Maybe getting swept by a clearly superior team is the wake-up call that this franchise would need. To either dig deep, have a full season, not a kind of mushy middle, not a bad November or a bad December where you end up barely getting a wildcard spot, playing a full 82 games all season long, getting a much better opponent, and by better I mean better for you, getting even if we were wildcard 3, that would be a much better position than, one of the best teams in the league. The favorite to win the East. That's who we get to start against. Awesome. Cool. A team with eons of playoff experience compared to us, who have 6 games. Maybe it would be the kind of thing where you say, okay, you know what, if next season isn't going, well, we're going to shake things up. We're going to make sure that this team actually is competitive during their window and doesn't just kind of make the playoffs and get bounced in round 1. You don't want to be the team that always gets bounced in round 1 because those teams don't succeed in the long term. You need playoff success. Or you need signs of life. Look at the Habs. Look at the Habs right now. They might not beat Tampa Bay. I said in the previous game that maybe the Sens Carolina might be one of the best series. It's not. Tampa and Montreal is the best series by far, by a mile. It's been a really fun series to watch. Montreal does not have to win this round for everyone to say, wow, they did good. They could lose in round 1 in 6 or 7 games to Tampa Bay, and everyone would say they are a team ready to fight, a team ready to compete, a team ready to make that next step. They actually had a real series. They actually competed. They went toe-to-toe with a really tough, really experienced opponent. We're not going toe-to-toe. Oh, sure, the scores are close. Occasionally play is close. Where's the results? We've had exactly one skater show. Ullmark's shown up. Ullmark is the only Senator who's shown up every single game these playoffs. Only one. Everyone else, what's going on? Drake Batherson, though, he has, this is crazy, 66%. 2/3 of all our goals. He has 2 goals. But you know what? 2 goals in 3 games isn't that bad. So Drake Batherson, I can excuse him. I can forgive him. I can say, you know what? Drake Batherson is the only player on this damn team who has any finish. Where are the big guns when you need them? Because now's not the time. No, whoops, couldn't get that one quite in. Ooh, we didn't get the puck luck. Stankhoven's left wide open. He's been mauling you all series. Oh, but that was puck luck? It was puck luck when he was left wide open for a one-timer? No, they're bigger, they're better, they're faster. Oh, it's the puck luck? That's why we can't enter the zone on a 5-on-3 power play? The crowd was booing that power play, and they were right to do so. Like, sometimes you feel bad. Oh man, the fans shouldn't be booing. This is our team. Show them some support. No, show some spine. We got not just a 5-on-3, might I add. A minute and 23 seconds. Well over 80 seconds of 5-on-3. You're down by a goal. You're in a 2-0 series. You're in a 2-game hole at home, down by a goal, and you get a long 5-on-3. And the reason why we couldn't enter the zone, it wasn't even that Carolina was doing such an exceptional job defensively that no matter what, they were always just plugging up the lane and getting sticks and getting bodies. We just couldn't complete a pass. We couldn't complete a pass if the puck was a freaking beach ball. Passing it to no one, passing it to nowhere, passing it out of the zone. Take a shot! You're making Frederick Anderson look like he deserves a Vezina. Take a shot on goal. Or a shot attempt. 1 shot attempt in the entire 5-on-3 power play. 1! That is disgraceful. Detroit fans must be pissed. Because they would have done way better than that. You kidding me? That's the performance we put out there. We couldn't enter the zone. We got boxed out. Our lanes were always clogged. Where was that from us? And it's a mix. Look, credit where credit is due. Carolina is a good team. They are my pick to win the cup. They are a very strong team. And they've been my pick to win the cup for a few seasons now. Let me be clear. I'm not just, they're beating Ottawa, so clearly, no. Since 2022-ish is when I was like, I think it might be Carolina's time. I think they're going to make that next step. They've been a competitive team for a while now, and they've been consistently making it to the conference finals. They're a good team. They're a tough team to beat, and they are proving that they are just simply better. They are. That we are a step below. That there are playoff teams, and there are playoff teams. And this is where we are, and this is where they are. And the only thing making it a 2-1 game instead of a 5-1 game is Linus Ullmark. That's it. It could have been 5-1 easy. Easy could have been 5-1. And now if they win Game 4 at home, backs against the wall, need a win to survive, and let's be honest, Carolina doesn't need to win Game 4. I think every Hurricanes fan knows that they could drop game 4, they could drop game 5. Who cares? Like they'll take care of business. The Canes are not dropping 4 in a row. Okay, they aren't. If they do, I'd be very over the moon. I'd be very happy. But what drama? Like, would it be worth it to kind of make it competitive so that we can say, oh, well, you know, it was a series. Was it? Because game 1, we didn't look that good. We looked okay, but it didn't look that good. Game 2, okay, we started slow, but we started to play with them. You know, the third period, we played pretty well. Game 3 was our worst game of the series. I've never seen a team look so disjointed in the playoffs. Lack of communication, lack of awareness. Have a complete inability to get anything started offensively. Is that really the team that we want to be okay with? If they get a cheeky win in game 4 and game 5? Really? That's what we want to be like, oh, no, everything's good? We're going to be like that dog in the meme where the house is on fire and we're like, everything's fine. Is it? Is it, though? Because what I saw was not fine. What I saw was a team die. A team realize that they aren't cut out for it. Something needs to change. And I don't know if it's going to be players. I don't know if it's going to be personnel. I really do think that this team does have what it takes, and it might be a time thing. But part of time is pressure. You know, diamonds takes time and pressure. And this is where I say, you know, if they get swept, if they lose game 4, if they play in game 4 the way they played game 3, remember how last season ended? We applauded them. We were chanting their, you know, we were chanting their names as they left the ice. They were our heroes. If game 4 resembles game 3, they're getting booed off ice. And I think they know that. I think they know that it's not going to be a yes, thanks for this fun ride. It's going to be, where were you? We went through all of that. We went through that January. We went through this whole season with the promise that we were going to get playoffs and it was going to be exciting. And then you do that. You lay an egg 4 straight games. You have one game where you look good, but when push comes to shove, all the big goal scorers disappear. Every player who's supposed to be our offensive weapon goes missing. Where's Brady? Where's Timmy? Where's Cousins even? Like Batherson's been good. Sanderson, well, we can't blame him for game 4 because he's not going to be there because he's hurt, which is wonderful. You know, hopefully Zub is back. Yeah, I thought Clement had a good game. Yeah, that counts for something, you know. Comes back from injury. It's not his fault. But where are the players who need to show up for those big moments? We need big-time moments from big-time players, and they haven't been big-time. They've been small potatoes. And if they only show up when their backs are against the wall, you're never going to win. That's what and then in game 4, if Tkachuk gets 2 and Brady gets 5 points, Brady gets 5 points, Brady gets 2 goals, Tkachuk gets 5, Stutzel gets 5 points. Oh my gosh, Cousins gets 2 goals. Oh wow, amazing. Is it? Like wow, when they're down 3-0, they suddenly play well. Maybe do that down 0-0. Ooh, just an idea. Play every game like it's your last. If that happens, will there be complacency? And I've said it going in, this is my worry, that next year the expectation will be playoffs. Get back to playoffs. That and this is where I'm like, if we lose in 6, I think there will be a lot of, well, they fought well. We're where we're supposed to be. We're doing good. Everything's fine. They lost in 6. 6 is good. Carolina's a tough team. We'll make the playoffs next year. But look at those series. Where are the big time players before it's do or die? Game 1 should be do or die. It's the playoffs. Every game, every goal, every minute, every second counts. You can't start playing when you're already at 3 losses. You can't. And that's where I wonder, I'm maybe wondering out loud here, if we lose game 4 in a similar fashion, where we score 1 or 2 goals or less, I actually think that would change the expectation next year to be like, no, you better win a round. After that showing, after that performance, you owe it to us. No. You had your chance, you blew it, so next year we don't want to see a series that's competitive. You better win. You better show up game 1, game 2, game 3. You can't start showing up in games 4 and 5. No. You got to show up for the whole damn series. Or there will be seismic shifts. And I do think next season won't be a seismic shift season until after our season is over. Right? If we lose in round 1 again next year, I would say, yeah, you need to make a big move. You need to make a big move, because this can't become the norm. And right now, it's 2 seasons, okay? Once is an incident, twice is a coincidence. 3 is a streak, 3 is a pattern. If it happens again next year, seismic shifts. And that better be on everyone's mind. My only worry is that if we lose in 6, well, we're doing okay. We're where we're supposed to be. We're where everyone expects. Losing in 6 is okay when you win 1 of the first 3 games. Or 2 of the first 3. That's when losing in 6 is okay. If the Lightning or the Habs lose in 6, well, they both showed up in those first 3 games. So if either team ends up losing in 6, you'd say, well, they had a good and competitive series. And it was close throughout. If we lose in 6, it wasn't a close series. It really wasn't. One team was better than the other. And I'm going to be honest, I think the only way we get to 6 is if Carolina gets a little bit complacent because the series is basically wrapped up. And so, they're the road team. They're up 3. Okay, they drop a game. And maybe they're still a little too complacent in game 5. And by game 6, they'll just wake right back up. But you know what? There's one stat that shows just how dire the situation is. Ottawa, this series, has as many goals as Carolina has wins. We have less goals than the Kings. And now, they got 1 chance to keep their season alive. Carolina has 4 chances. Put us away. What do you... Do the math. Do the math. I'm not happy. Hopefully they surprise me. Hopefully I end up talking about how I can't believe we're going to 7, but... that was a pretty sad performance. And as always, go, Ottawa. Go.